In this video, I'm going to give you the full blueprint for building a VA claim that gives you the best shot at the rating you actually earned. Most veterans don't lose their claim because they don't deserve benefits. They lose because their file makes the VA work too hard. If the VA has to guess what happened in service, guess how it caused your condition, or guess how bad it is today, your claim is already weaker than it should be. And this applies whether you're filing for PTSD, sleep apnea, a bad knee, hearing loss, burn pit exposure, or a secondary condition connected to something you're already rated for. The condition changes, the winning structure does not. Every VA claim lives or dies on three things: diagnosis, in-service event, and nexus. No shortcuts, no magic language that replaces them, no emotional story that makes up for a missing piece. First, diagnosis. You need a current diagnosis from a licensed medical provider, and it needs to be documented. Not, my buddy says I seem different. Not, I know my knee is bad. And not, I've just been dealing with it. The VA works on paper. If it's not written down, it might as well not exist. Second, you need the in-service event. That is the X on the map. What happened during service that caused, started, or contributed to the condition. Sometimes it's one clear incident: a fall, a blast, a vehicle accident, a documented injury. Sometimes it's exposure, burn pits, chemicals, noise, contaminated water. And sometimes it's the job itself. Your MOS matters. An infantryman, paratrooper, mechanic, medic, combat engineer, or artilleryman is not living the same physical story as someone behind a desk. Your job duties can help explain why your body is in the shape it's in. Third, you need the nexus. This is the bridge. The nexus connects your current diagnosis to what happened in service. And this is where a massive number of claims fall apart. The VA standard is at least as likely as not, meaning there is at least a 50% chance your condition was caused or aggravated by service. Those words matter. If your medical opinion does not clearly connect the diagnosis to service using that kind of standard, the bridge may not hold. And here's the painful part. A lot of denied veterans actually had 2 out of 3. They had the diagnosis, they had the event, but nobody built the bridge. The VA is not going to build your case for you. Your job is to hand the rater a complete package where the conclusion is obvious. Now, once those 3 pieces are there, there is a 4th layer that affects your percentage: severity. The VA is not just asking, do you have the condition? They're asking, how bad is it? That means frequency, severity, and duration. How often does it happen? How bad does it get? How long does it last? 2 veterans can have the exact same diagnosis and end up with very different ratings because one described the worst accurate picture of the condition and the other described an average Tuesday. That difference can cost you real money every month. Before you file anything, pull your service treatment records. Use standard form 180, the SF-180, and request your full records from service. Most veterans have never gone through their own file carefully. That is a mistake because your records may already contain the evidence you think you're missing. Look for self-assessment forms. Those check the box forms where you answered questions about headaches, joint pain, sleep problems, breathing issues, anxiety, depression, stomach problems, or anything else. If you checked yes and wrote even one sentence, that can matter. It may not be a full diagnosis, but it can show the condition existed, started, or showed symptoms while you were still in. Maybe you went to a medic, got Motrin, and kept moving. That's what a lot of veterans did. But if that visit was logged, that is a foundation. Pull the records even if you think nothing is there. If the file is thin, that tells you something too. It means you need stronger post-service evidence, a better personal statement, buddy statements, and possibly a private nexus letter. Knowing where the gap is puts you in control. And if your records request gets stuck for months, call your congressional representative's office. A staffer may be able to help move that request along. Use every tool available. Now let's talk about direct service connection. That is the most common path. The condition started in service or was directly caused by service. But a lot of veterans think they need a perfect sick call record to prove it. You don't always need that. Your MOS can be evidence, your deployment history can be evidence, your duty station can be evidence, and your job duties can be evidence. If you were infantry for years and now have chronic back, knee, ankle, or hip problems, the physical demands of that work matter. If you were around aircraft, artillery, engines, or explosions, that matters for hearing loss and tinnitus. If you handled toxic materials, worked around burn pits, or served in a qualifying location, that matters. Your service record is not just administrative paperwork. It tells the story of what your body and mind were exposed to. When medical records are thin, lay evidence becomes critical. That means your personal statement, buddy statements, statements from people who served with you, statements from family who saw the change after you came home. A buddy who watched you get injured, saw you limp through a deployment, noticed your sleep problems, or remembers how your behavior changed can add real weight. Do not treat these statements like emotional extras. They are evidence, but keep them focused. What happened? When did it happen? What changed after? And how did it affect daily life? That is what the rater needs. If you've been out more than 12 months or your service records do not clearly document the condition, a private nexus letter becomes extremely important. That letter should not be vague. It needs to say the condition is at least as likely as not connected to service, and it needs to explain why. Do not walk into your doctor's office and say, "Can you write me a VA nexus letter?" Most doctors do not know what the VA needs. Bring a template, bring your records, bring the specific facts, and let the doctor review, edit, and sign if they agree. You are making it easier for them to help you. Now, there is another path many veterans miss completely: presumptive service connection. Presumptive means the VA already accepts that certain conditions are connected to certain service histories. In other words, if you served in the right place during the right period and you have a qualifying condition, you may not need a nexus letter at all. The law already built the bridge. Think burn pits, Agent Orange, Camp Lejeune, contaminated water, radiation exposure, and other toxic exposure frameworks. The PACT Act expanded a lot of this. So before you assume your claim needs a private nexus, check whether your condition is presumptive. This is where veterans voluntarily opt out of benefits that they've already earned. Someone told them, if it wasn't diagnosed while you were in, you can't claim it. That is not always true. Presumptive conditions exist specifically because some conditions show up later. Also, watch the 1-year post-discharge window. Some conditions diagnosed within the first year after separation may fall into a presumptive window. If that applies, you may not need the same level of in-service documentation. The key is this: check the current list. Not the list from 5 years ago, not what another veteran told you in a Facebook group, the current list. Rules change, conditions get added. A claim that failed before may be stronger today. Now, let's move to one of the biggest rating opportunities: secondary service connection. This is how a veteran can go from 20% to 70% without proving a brand new in-service event. A secondary condition is caused or aggravated by a disability the VA has already service connected. You are not tying it back to service directly, you are tying it to the condition that is already rated. Here's what that looks like. Veteran A files for a back condition, gets 20%, and stops. Veteran B files for the same back condition, then also documents radiculopathy down both legs, arthritis, sleep disruption, and a mental health condition tied to the chronic pain. Same original injury, completely different claim strategy. Veteran B mapped the chain. Common chains matter. Back problems can lead to radiculopathy in one or both legs. Chronic pain can contribute to depression, anxiety, and sleep problems. PTSD may be connected to sleep apnea in some cases. Medications for a service-connected condition may cause side effects that become their own claim. Your homework is simple. Search secondary conditions to and add the condition you already have rated. Then do the same thing for any medications you take. That search is not your evidence, it is your starting point. If you find something that matches symptoms you already have, bring it to your doctor and ask whether there is a real medical connection. For a secondary claim, you still need a nexus. The doctor needs to connect the secondary condition to the service-connected condition in writing. Something caused it, something aggravated it. Put that connection on paper. I personally did not understand the secondaries. I downplayed all my symptoms in my C&P exam, and I didn't open up to the actual full reality of my life with that condition, so I got underrated. And then I realized what I was doing was wrong, and I actually gave them the full picture and got properly rated on that condition, then was able to get 2 secondaries on that, getting myself properly rated, where I actually should have been this entire time. Now, here's another path most veterans do not understand. Aggravation. If you entered service with a pre-existing condition and military service made it worse, that can still be rateable. You are not disqualified because the condition existed before service. The question is, did service aggravate it beyond normal progression? Example, you entered with flat feet. Manageable, not a major issue. Then years of rucking, running, standing, and carrying weight turned it into plantar fasciitis or chronic foot pain that affects your life today. That can matter. Your entrance physical shows where you started. Your separation physical, treatment notes, and post-service records show where you ended up. The before and after timeline is the case. Aggravation can also apply through secondary conditions. A service-connected disability can make another condition worse, even if that second condition was not originally caused by service. Again, the rule is the same. Build the paper trail. The VA does not rate what you know happened, they rate what the record can prove. So let's talk about the evidence package. A strong claim usually has 3 buckets working together: personal records, lay evidence, and medical evidence. Personal records include your DD-214, MOS, deployments, duty stations, training, and assignments. These records prove where you were and what you were doing. They help support exposure, physical strain, combat-related events, and job-related wear and tear. Lay evidence is your personal statement and statements from other people. Your personal statement should not be a 4-page rant about the VA. I just know that there's been a ton of people who have done that. You guys that actually made me laugh. Okay. It should be short, specific, and organized condition by condition. Use frequency, severity, and duration. How often does it happen? How bad does it get? How long does it last? What does it stop you from doing? Write so clearly that the rater can match your symptoms to the rating criteria. Buddy statements should do the same thing from another point of view. A fellow service member can describe what they saw in service. A spouse can describe how your symptoms affect home life. A coworker can describe missed work or limitations. Medical evidence is the heavy piece. That includes service treatment records, private medical records, VA records, DBQs, and nexus letters. One of the strongest moves is having a private provider complete a DBQ, a disability benefits questionnaire. These are VA forms. They are built around the rating criteria. If your doctor fills one out accurately and completely, the rater can see the condition in the VA's own language. That can make your claim easier to decide. And if you have not seen a doctor for the condition in 6 months or more, be careful. On paper, it can look like the condition improved or resolved. Stay current, get treatment documented, build the record before you need it. Now let's talk about the C&P exam. This is where veterans lose claims they should have won. Not because the evidence was weak, because they showed up to the exam the wrong way. A C&P exam is not a normal doctor's appointment. It is closer to a legal evaluation. The examiner is there to document findings for the VA, and their report can carry enormous weight. The biggest mistake veterans make is minimizing. They walk in tough, they say, "I'm fine." They describe a good day. They leave out the flare-ups because they don't want to sound weak. Then the report says they are doing fine, and the rating reflects that. You need to tell the accurate full story. Not exaggerated, not dramatic, accurate. If your back locks up twice a month and puts you on the floor for 3 days, say that. If panic attacks happen weekly, say that. If migraines force you into a dark room and make you miss work, say that. If your knee works on some days but gives out on others, you need to say that. Frequency, severity, duration. That framework matters in your personal statement, your medical records, and your C&P exam. Before the exam, look up the 38 CFR rating criteria for your condition. Know what the VA is actually measuring. That does not mean gaming the system, it means understanding the VA's reasons behind the questions. Also, file secondary conditions before the exam. Do not wait until you are in the room and casually mention a new issue. If it is not part of the claim, the examiner may not evaluate it in a way that leads to a rating. And if the exam report comes back wrong, incomplete, or missing key facts, you can challenge it. You can request a new exam or submit a rebuttal from a private provider. The exam is important, but it is not untouchable. Here is your final checklist. Before you file, make sure the golden circle is complete. Diagnosis, in-service event, and nexus. Make sure your diagnosis is current and documented. Make sure your in-service event is clear, whether it is an incident, exposure, MOS, deployment, or cumulative wear and tear. Make sure the nexus uses the right legal standard and actually explains the connection. Pull your service treatment records with SF-180 and review them line by line. Check your self-assessments, sick call notes, entrance physical, separation physical, and anything that shows symptoms during service. Check presumptive eligibility against the current list. Do not assume you need a nexus if the law may already presume the connection. Map secondary conditions from every disability you have already rated. Look at pain, nerve issues, sleep problems, mental health effects, medication side effects, and anything your doctor can medically support. If service made a pre-existing condition worse, build the aggravation timeline. Show the before, show the after, and show what changed. Build the evidence package with personal records, lay evidence, and medical evidence. Write your personal statement in plain language, condition by condition, using frequency, severity, and duration. Get buddy statements where they help prove what happened or how the condition affects you. Use private medical records, DBQs, and nexus letters wherever they strengthen the file. Prepare for the C&P exam like it matters, because it does. Read the rating criteria, know your symptoms, tell the full story accurately, and do not describe only your best day. That is the blueprint. The veterans who are properly rated are not always the veterans with the worst conditions. They are the veterans with the clearest evidence, because the VA is not going to organize your claim for you. They are not going to hunt down every missing connection, and they are not going to guess how bad your condition gets when nobody wrote it down. That part is on you. So here's your mission this week. Pick one thing from this checklist that you have not done yet and do it. Pull your records, book the doctor appointment, draft the personal statement, ask for buddy statements, check the presumptive list, or map the secondary conditions. One completed step beats a perfect plan you never act on. If this helped, hit the like and subscribe, share it with a veteran who is sitting on a denied claim or is not filed yet. The link in the description will take you to vetclaims.ai where you can get started. You earned the benefits, now build the file that proves it.